Hey guys, this is Plutonium here and welcome back to another tutorial for today. And today's tutorial is a farm tutorial, and this is probably the first farm tutorial for 1.17. If you guys don't know that Minecraft 1.17, which is the Caves and Cliffs update, has been released for Minecraft just this week. And yeah, it's not like the full Caves and Cliffs update. The update was actually divided into two parts, which is now the 1.17 and the 1.18 update. So this is the 1.17 update, which is the minor update, and it has some of the features of the Caves and Cliffs, such as copper and amethyst and candles and dripstone and all of those things like that. And today's tutorial is actually a tutorial for a fully automatic amethyst bud farm. Now, yeah, I'd say right, a fully automatic amethyst farm. Now I'm in creative mode, so this is actually easy for me to make here. But for this farm to be actually built in your survival worlds, you need to actually find an amethyst geode. Now in an amethyst geode, you can find these blocks, which are called the budding amethyst blocks. So there's in that amethyst geode, you might be able to see some of the amethyst blocks, the regular amethyst blocks, and the budding amethyst blocks. But the difference between both of them is that the budding amethyst blocks they have these kind of cross shape in the middle. You can see that cross, and these are the blocks which actually grow the amethyst clusters on them, and these crosses are where they exactly grow. So I have made a farm for that. Now the problem is that you can't really obtain the budding amethyst block, so you have to make this farm at the location of that block. So yeah, this farm is only possible to be built inside an amethyst geode. You need to make sure that you clear enough space around it, because it's definitely deep in the it's definitely deep underground. But anyways, let's move on to the working of this farm. Now you can see that this build is pretty much based on pistons and observers. So what is actually happening here is this actually works on a certain game mechanic, and it's basically that amethyst growth has 4 stages. So you can see in my hand I have all of those 4 different stages. So first is the small amethyst bud, then you have the medium amethyst bud, then you have the large amethyst bud, and then you have the largest one, which you can just simply call an amethyst cluster. It's being called an amethyst cluster, you can see in my hotbar. Anyways, coming back to this, so the amethyst cluster is the last stage when this can actually be harvested. So I'm going to use a piston to actually harvest that, which makes it fully automatic. And so what is actually happening is when this first stage occurs, this observer is definitely going to detect that, because that's a block update. And what this happens is we have a kind of like lots of pistons and observer action. I'm going to tell you what is going to happen. So after the first stage, this observer will detect it. Obviously this sticky piston is going to spit out this observer, which is going to go here, and actually nothing is going to happen because it's just the first stage. You can't really harvest that amethyst in the first stage, so it's pretty pointless. After the second stage, it will again give an output, which means that this observer, which was actually not here but it was supposed to be here, which will be retracted by this piston again, and that will cause this observer to fire through this block, causing this piston to spit out this observer, and this will go from here to here. Now what will happen on the third stage, this observer will again detect that, this piston will push its observer all the way back up to here, and yeah, you know the process after that. Then after the fourth stage, which is the final stage when you can finally extract this observer is going to be retracted from here to here, causing this piston to pulse again, which will attract this observer from here to here, and this is where the harvesting part is being done. This observer is going to power into this piston, and we have this piston for updating because quasi connectivity, and this is right at the location of our amethyst. So what happens is once this will fire, it's going to break the amethyst and it's going to fall into the hopper, into your chest. Now for the tutorial, this is like a very simple storage method. I've just added a little hopper and a chest, but you can add whatever kind of storage you want. You might want to add like dozens of chests in a line. I mean, this farm is not really that fast. It's not the most efficient farm in the world because it is limited by how fast the amethyst crystals grow. You can see I've already been standing for a long time here and still nothing has happened. And that's the bad thing about this farm, is that it's really slow. Now you can see I've also added a few blocks around this budding amethyst block, and this is just simply to prevent any other amethyst growths. I mean, I don't think that really affects the growth of this one side. I don't know. I haven't yet checked into the technicalities of these all of these sides. I don't. Let's move on. Let's talk about the farm now. So this is pretty simple. Now the best part is that you can actually also make a farm I have made a farm on this side, but you can also make a farm on the other side. So I guess we should move on to the tutorial how to build this thing. But before that, I would actually like to show you how this thing actually should work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my random tick speed, which is the, yeah, this one right here. I'm going to change it to 1000, and you can see what is going to happen. So at the first stage, you can see that it's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to just watch and wait. The first stage has just occurred. Second stage, yes, you can see that stuff is going along here. And okay, it's random, you know, the different stages are a bit random, so you need to wait for it. Oh wait, third stage, fourth stage, it's broken. Yes. And you just saw right there that our amethyst has been harvested. You can see that we have 2 amethyst shards in our chest. Now every time you break the amethyst cluster, you get 2 of these. You can already see that it's working again. So I'm going to actually change this thing back to whatever it was. I guess the original value is 3. You can see it just harvested again, and you can see that now we have 4 of them. So now you can also see this extra circuit on the outside. Now this is actually to prevent this farm from breaking. Yeah, this can break. Now this is why this happens, is because when this amethyst will grow completely in the last stage, this observer will detect it, causing this piston to extend. Now this piston will cause another update through this observer, and this could put the farm out of sync. We don't want that. So what is actually happening here is when this piston extends, we have this observer which is going to detect that, and it's going to send a pulse which is 2 ticks later into this regular piston, and it will push this observer back, or actually it will prevent this sticky piston from extending, and that means our farm will stay intact. It will stay in sync with our growth stages, which is pretty good. Anyways, now after that, let's move on to the tutorial. Alright, so to build this farm, you're going to need a 3x4 area which is marked here, right, like this, by these glass blocks. And you also need to remove all the blocks in front of this budding amethyst block like this here. So we need to have at least this much of an area like this here. And what you need to have in your inventory to actually build this, and it's actually all in my hotbar, you need 4 observers, 2 sticky pistons, 3 regular pistons, 1 redstone repeater, 4 blocks of the redstone, and 1 hopper. And that hopper is just for, you know, it goes into the storage room wherever you want to keep your stuff in. Alright, so to begin this farm, you are going to come from this amethyst block towards this side, in the middle of this, you know, shorter row, you can say, towards the side of this amethyst, are an observer, and this is going to detect the stages of growth of this budding amethyst in here, or the amethyst clusters, whatever you might call it. After that, you need to place a sticky piston facing towards this side, which is towards the longer side, and an observer whose dot is facing towards the sky on that face. Then place a block here, place a not a regular piston, place a sticky piston facing towards that side again, and then place an observer facing towards the front, the dot facing towards the front on its face again. Then place a block here, and then you need to place that regular piston which should be facing into this amethyst block. And since this observer needs to you know, do some quasi connectivity stuff, we need to be updating this piston. So we are going to place another regular piston on the top, which is going to update it. Now I've used a regular piston. You can use anything. You can use a note block, you can probably use a dropper or a stuff like that, you know. Okay, and then the most important circuit which prevents this thing from breaking is then you need to place an observer coming out from that piston over there. Place a block here. You can remove this block and then add any block of your choice, or you may not even as well. And you need to place a repeater which should be on 2 tick delay right here, and in front of that we need to place a regular piston which should be facing towards this observer, and we are actually done. Now you need to build this farm for only the sides and not the top and bottom, because I've built it for the top, for the sides only. And you can actually see that we have actually doubled our efficiency by placing 2 farms for the same budding amethyst block, and that is pretty nice, I guess. Now you have more than one of these inside an amethyst geode, so you can probably increase the efficiency by a lot in a single amethyst geode. And this farm is definitely going to help you. You can already see there's already a little bit of amethyst growing on it. And I also forgot, I also actually forgot that I need to place a hopper down this, and I can use this as a reference right there. This hopper will go into some sort of storage. I'm just going to add another chest like this, crouch and place, and you are done. Now you might want to also cover this up, because there's a possibility that this amethyst might fly off and then you might have some losses, and that's why you can add some glass like this, and that will make it a completely lossless farm. I'm going to also do it on this side, and that is pretty much it. That's it for the tutorial. I know it was a very short one, but it was a quick and easy simple farm to build, and that's why we had a quick tutorial. And actually let me tell you that just about 10 minutes ago, 10 minutes before recording this video, I built this farm in my testing world because I had necessity. And yeah, here's the tutorial then. So anyways guys, thanks for watching, and please leave a like for this video and subscribe, and also ring the notification bell so that you never miss any more awesome content from the Plutonium Plays channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.